Happy Friday, Alpha Females. It's Katie Freeman here. I hope you all had a good week and are psyched for the weekend ahead. So, I want to introduce a new segment for this show. I'm going to call it Greeks in the News, where I read articles from various sources that have to do with recent news regarding sororities or just Greek life in general. So here's our first article, and this story comes from NBC News, and the title is Zahara Jolie Pitt Joins Historic Black Sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha, and it is written by Liz Calvario. The 18-year-old daughter of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, Zahara Jolie Pitt, just became a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The moment at Spelman College's chapter was captured in a video shared by Essence, showing the college teen introducing herself before joining her new sorority sisters. Quote, "My name is Zahara Marley," she yelled, before shaking her hair and adding, "Jolie." She also declared that she hails from Los Angeles as the crowd cheered her on. Founded in 1908 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is the first intercollegiate historically African-American sorority. According to their website, the sisterhood includes more than 1,064 chapters and more than 355,000 initiated members. Some of the sorority's high-profile members include Vice President Kamala Harris, as well as the late Dr. Maya Angelou, actress Felicia Rashad, and comedian Wanda Sykes. In July 2022, Jolie announced that her daughter would be attending Spelman College, a historically black women's liberal arts college in Atlanta, Georgia. Jolie Pitt is expected to graduate with the class of 2026. Quote, "We are honored that Zahara Jolie Pitt and her family chose Spelman College, and we welcome Zahara enthusiastically into the Spelman sisterhood," Gail previously told Today.com via email when news of Jolie Pitt's decision was announced by the actor. As the number one HBCU in the country, there's no place quite like Spelman, which has been an incubator for black women's education and excellence for more than 140 years. As well, it has a global network of alumni that have and continue to change the world. The next article comes from the Washington Examiner and is written by Asher Nothace, and the title is Kappa Kappa Gamma Alumni Suing Sorority for Allowing Transgender Women Membership. This one's definitely a more controversial topic, so buckle in. Alumni of Kappa Kappa Gamma are suing their sorority over its position of allowing biological men to become leaders in the organization. The lawsuit in question, filed on Thursday, said a transgender woman is being considered for a leadership role in the sorority, which could make Kappa Kappa Gamma the first sorority with a transgender woman as its president. The candidate being considered, Tracy Nadzija, was KKG's first transgender woman member, accepting a position as an alumna initiate in the sorority in 2020. Quote, "The candidate has currently applied for and is being considered for a position in leadership to be voted on through an online election in April 2024, the lawsuit stated. This position could include being elected to fraternity council or even president of KKG. And again, this is a quote, "Most members remain unaware that the candidate is a man." The suit also claims that Nadzija was fast-tracked to a leadership position within the sorority and that the KKG's fraternity council, quote, "deceptively misrepresented Nadzija as a woman qualified for leadership." The plaintiffs of this lawsuit are Patsy Levang, Cheryl Tuck-Smith, Susan Jennings, Margot Knorr, Karen Pope, and Ann Witt, all of whom are KKG alumni. It was filed by the Independent Women's Law Center. Levang, a former president of KKG, said in a press release that she felt, quote, "obligated to stand up for women in this lawsuit." Quote, "The current leadership in Kappa has deliberately engaged in a campaign to undermine the bylaws of Kappa, which harms not only these young women, but the entire organization." Levang said, "I'm not surprised that they also disregarded the value of lifetime membership and my 56 years of dedication by sending me a removal letter." Again, very controversial topic. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you have any, go ahead and send an email to alphafemalepod@gmail.com. I'm curious to see what the reception is out there. So our last story for today comes from the Arizona State Press, and it is written by Ginia McFarland, and the title is Alpha Pi Omega Sorority Celebrates and Supports Native American Culture Through Greek Life. The story goes, Alpha Pi Omega, the first sorority in the nation to be dedicated to Native American women, uses its chapter at ASU to continue the celebration of Indigenous culture past Native American Heritage Month. To celebrate, the IOTA chapter hosts different food, art, and cultural events throughout the year to celebrate and support the Native American community. Quote, most of us come from very different tribes, said IOTA President Kaihala George, a senior studying political science and American Indian studies. Alpha Pi Omega was established in September 1994 at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and currently has more than 900 members and 130 tribes represented nationwide. In May 2007, ASU started the IOTA chapter of the sorority. UA is the only other Arizona university to have an Alpha Pi Omega chapter. We are a small sorority. We don't always have the schedules to get out there and do everything, said Randy Castaneda, a junior studying art and American Indian studies. But we want to be more involved in Greek life in general, not just the multicultural Greek life. Quote, I was worried when I came to ASU about being able to find a group and maintain it, Castaneda said. But with the sisterhood, we always have each other's backs. I feel like these girls are always here for me no matter what. Multiple officer roles within the sorority come from intertwining the traditional Greek life positions, like president and treasurer, with traditional indigenous roles, like chiefess and grand dean of honeycombs. In addition, the sorority's four values of education, spirituality, traditionalism, and contemporary issues are all connected to the four elements, according to George. Education is earth, spirituality is air, traditionalism is fire, and contemporary issues is water, George said. We all fit into different clans. I think they are accurate. Lisa Williams, a junior studying neuroscience, serves as chiefess. The role requires Williams to mediate issues within the sorority and handle all internal and external communication. Quote, I think having those little chiefess moments makes it more memorable and close-knit, Williams said. Even though we all have our own problems outside of the sorority, I feel like I really connect with everyone through those moments. Sisters focus on their relationships with one another and share respect for the different tribes represented within the sorority, according to its members. Quote, it's easier for me to convey ideas, ideologies, and principles I have personally, Williams said. They grew up moderately traditional, especially within today's society. It's hard to stay in touch with our indigenous roots. The mission of the IOTA sorority chapter is to support creating a balanced life between traditional cultures and success in the modern world. George said those who are well-versed in traditional indigenous practices while living in the, quote, contemporary modern world, quote, walk between two worlds. Quote, it's being able to live in this world and take care of ourselves and build something that we are proud of, but still maintaining our traditional values, ceremonies, and responsibilities of home, George said. With their motto, My Sisters as Myself, the Alpha Pi Omega sorority focuses on issues for Native American women in society at large. Quote, we just keep in mind respect, being compassionate, and caring about people who are not ourselves and putting others before ourselves, Williams said. Looking into the future, the sorority is excited to partner with an indigenous fraternity, Phi Sigma Nu, which will be restarted in spring 2024 after being inactive for several years. Quote, they will be making a comeback, and while we haven't been personally involved with getting to help with that, it will be fun to see and do socials with them, Castaneda said. The sorority will continue to educate while letting the brother organization coordinate with fraternities. Together, the organizations can host larger events, according to Castaneda. Quote, "A lot of people assume we only accept girls who are Indigenous, but we are open to everyone as long as you respect our values," George said. That's it for the first installment of Greeks in the News. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. If you did, go ahead and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to this podcast. If you have any questions about sorority life, please send an email to alphafemalepod@gmail.com. And be sure to hit subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. I love to see the podcast grow and see where people are listening. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope everybody has a great weekend ahead, and I will talk to you next week, Alpha Females. Take care.